Emmanuel Ogbah and the Miami Dolphins have reached an agreement on a 4-year contract worth $65 million, so they're paying him a decent amount of money here. On one hand, I think you could certainly make the argument that maybe he's a bit of a product of the system, but on the other hand, he's staying in Miami, a team that does know how to use him despite it being under a new regime. Let's talk about the player himself, and then we'll talk about kind of the rest of things. Let's start off with a play like this, because I think that one legitimate concern to have about Emmanuel Ogbah is how much of it is just he's talented and how much of him is just the Brian Flores scheme helped him. And in some areas, it's not mutually exclusive. Like, this is a good example where it's going to be a stunt or a twist, whatever you want to call it. And this is something that Flores did a lot. It's really a Bill Belichick staple. So Flores in that Belichick tree. And this is why I think you saw Emmanuel Ogbah, he was good at this stuff, where basically the way it works is a defensive tackle is going to run to the right guard's right. And then Emmanuel Ogbah kind of runs in between the guard and the center. If the center is blocking to his left, which he should be since there's an extra Miami Dolphins player on the line to the left, so you're probably going to shift in that direction, meaning that basically the idea is the right guard blocks the guy to his right, the center blocks the guy to his left, and there can be a straight shot for Ogbah, who is the edge rusher on this play, to run through. As you see, that's basically what's happened. This is a well-schemed play, and there's even actually some other pressure going on a little bit further, towards Tyrod Taylor. So Taylor's going to actually kind of step up naturally in the pocket a little bit, which makes things even easier for Ogbah. But as you see, Ogbah also does a great job of running over quickly and making that very quick tackle. So both were true. I think it's fair to say, like, Ogbah did his role well there, but that was also schemed up, and that's okay. I mean, I think we know Brian Flores is good at this stuff, so yeah, for an edge rusher, it does put you in a, it does make you, give you a bigger benefit, I guess is what I'll say. But the flip side is, like, listen, you can still use him that way. There's no law against just continuing to have him run stunts, so that's probably what I would imagine they do. Like, another example is something like this. So again, basically the exact same idea, and watch what's going to happen here. So right when this play begins, you see that the Saints are doing a better job, still not perfect, but a lot better of a job. You see how the left guard is in position to kind of just block Ogbah a little bit, get a hand on him, and that's kind of what you're hoping for, is just that you can at least slow him down here. Obviously, you would have loved to get a little bit further over, but what you see Ogbah doing, and like, look at Ogbah's left hand, and you can kind of see on this still frame, he's grabbing the right guard's right arm because he knows that's really the only way that he can get stopped is with that right arm. But because he shoved it away, he again gets that straight shot to Ian Book. Doesn't actually make the tackle there, but he still slowed Book down enough and created the pressure and got through. So this is the stuff that he is just very good at and what he can consistently do. Also, something like this is a benefit to having someone like Ogbah, is he is someone who is versatile. Look, this is him going up against a guard right here. You always love when a guy can do multiple different things, and he can. Look at how right when this play begins, you get a good angle of his right arm grabbing that left shoulder pad area. What he's going to try and do is sort of this pull move here, where he's going to pull with his right hand and push with his left hand. His left hand is currently on the other side of the right guard's right arm. And so basically you push with one side, pull with the other, and kind of can twist him around a little bit, which can allow you to get to the side easier, and watch how well he's going to pull it off. Look, I mean, that's a big guy. He's just moving around like that. Now, worth mentioning, again, Tyrod Taylor, there was a little bit of luck here. Tyrod Taylor just fell down, but that was a quick pressure anyways. Like that, even if Taylor didn't fall down, that's probably an immediate sack. So it almost made Ogbah look a little worse that Tyrod Taylor fell, because everyone just says, he fell, is what it is. But no, actually, for Ogbah, he legitimately won that rep, and that was a very good play by him. Let's go over to this one. That move by Ogbah probably is the one that he does the most, probably what he's most effective at. And this is going to be another example of it, going up one-on-one, this time against a tackle, against the New York Jets right tackle, and watch what happens. So Wilson takes a snap, and you see how this is going to kind of start off as though, there was sort of a quick pass option, and that didn't happen, so it's almost looked like a run block type scenario, but regardless, it's kind of a similar idea, similar concept, and Ogbah's going to try to pull off the same thing. As you see, that's what he does, and he is able to run over, and he actually makes the tackle on Wilson right there. Again, it was a busted play, it was a weird play, but it just goes to show, like, that technique is something that he sort of has down, and if he can find a tackle that isn't maybe the best at defending that, well, he could get he could rack up a decent amount of pressures in just a single game. So that's definitely the pro of him. I think this one's another good example. He's going up against New Orleans right tackle, although this is Caleb Benioff right here. Benioff, I believe is how you say his name. He used to play for the Buccaneers. I should know that. But anyways, so just pointing this out, this is not Ryan Ramczyk. This is a lesser player who is going up against, with all due respect to the great Caleb B. Not quite Ryan Ramczyk there, which is fair to say. But again, watch what he's going to do. So right when this play begins, it looks very similar to what we've seen him pull off in the past. Again, this is kind of his move a little bit. But this time it's going to be less about the pull itself and more just about his left hand. Watch him drive Benioff back, and he makes that quick tackle on Ian Book. The ball pops out there at the end. I'm not sure if that was a fumble or not, but what did happen was just the sack by a very good play from Ogbah. So there's a lot to like about Ogbah, and he can definitely, you can make the argument he doesn't have every move in the book, but he has enough moves to get himself consistent pressure, and that's kind of what you want at the end of the day. It sometimes matters less about how many moves do you have and more about how good is your best move, and his best move is pretty good. So that's what he can do, and you can use him in creative ways on top of that, and he's versatile. So the tape is good. So yeah, as a whole, I do get the logic behind this move. Now, if you've been following my channel, I'm kind of always against the idea of signing kind of a B edge rusher, big money. He's going to be getting $16.5 million on average throughout 4 years. Granted, there's always little details that we have to pay attention to, the guaranteed stuff and everything like that. But quite frankly, with the market rate that edge rushers get, I think this is a fine deal. I think that the reality is edge rushers get this kind of money, and for someone like Ogbah, he is someone he's a good player, and he definitely fits that blitz-heavy scheme, which I would assume, again, it's always weird with this stuff where Mike McDaniel, obviously, for the 49ers, is an offensive-minded coach. He comes, in from the Shanahan system, so he's going to be mostly focused on offense and things like that. Does he also, keep the kind of Shanahan defense they had then, or does he try something new? That's going to be an interesting question. And for someone like Ogbah, he certainly is one of those players where I think it's fair to say, he gets used in unique ways, and that's kind of how he really was able to thrive with Miami these past couple of years, is by running stunts with him, by having blitzes, which will give him these one-on-one matchups. But he's also, he's an edge rusher who can beat tackles relatively consistently one-on-one, and at the end of the day, that is your goal as an edge rusher, is to be able to do that, and he can. So that's the main value, and that's why you pay him the money that you're going to pay him if you're the Miami Dolphins. So for the Dolphins, what are the implications now? Well, they started today with $48 million in cap space, so spending 16.5 of that on Ogbah. You still have plenty of cap space, still over $30 million. They can spend more if they want to, and of course, you can always go over the cap. The cap is more of a suggestion than it is a hard line of what you can spend. So the fact that that's the case, listen, you're better off spending it on players than spending it on nothing. He looks good in Miami colors. I guess that's another factor. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I think it's a fine move. I'm not crazy about it. I don't hate it either. And I certainly see the logic behind it. And they could have made worse moves. So that's how I feel about it. How do you feel about it? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.